The young woman singer, Maria Shriver, is in Los Angeles with our West Coast report. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning to you, Bill. Well, the record business is on a roll, and so is one of its bright young performers. At the age of 28, this California native has the soul sound of rhythm and blues so popular with black audiences. Now she is beginning to cross over to white audiences. No small feat for a black performer, but Teena Marie is white. The voice is funky and raw, soulful and spirited. Teena Marie's driving sound has made her newest single, Lover Girl, number 8 on the pop charts. The album has gone gold. The pint-sized belter is on the verge of big success.
The album's very danceable, and if you dance on this record from top to bottom, your feet are gonna hurt.
For years, it's been mainly blacks who have boogied to the Teena Marie sound.
From the time I was 8 years old, it was my dream to be on Motown Records, to be the first successful female on Motown Records, white female. And when I was 19, I got a chance to sign with them, and I was there for 6 years.
Her debut album was produced by her mentor and Motown star Rick James. Her hits climbed the black R&B charts. Support came from black radio stations and discos. You said you feel like a black woman in white skin. Is that true?
I had 6 albums out, and there's still people today that come to me and just refuse to believe that I'm white. It's like I'm black.
Don't say it. Just bring them back.
Then 2 years ago, she signed with Epic Records, which started pushing the idea of Teena Marie to whites.
Bring them back.
The black people embraced me from day one. And it's like now crossing over and reaching to the white market is great, because that's where you bring all the people in together.
Teena Marie is rare among female performers. She writes, arranges, and produces all her own material.
I want to do the Janis Joplin story, and I just heard that they're doing it, and I'll die if I don't get that part.
Now that her crossover has begun, she's out on tour for the first time in 3.5 years. It's hoped the tour will thrust Teena Marie into the big time.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, my strength, my strength, my strength, my strength, my redeemer, my redeemer. Amen. Amen. Let's kill it. Right.
Well, Teena Marie tells me.
Well, first of all, I know it's a blessing. I know it's a gift, and I always have. And fortunately for me, and unfortunately for some of the people that I've been around, I was around a lot of people that that I saw doing a lot of stuff, a lot of wild stuff to themselves, you know, and really hurt themselves, hurt their gift, you know. And I was able to see that that wasn't the way to go. Then I'm just, you know, just a deeply spiritual person anyway. You can obviously tell that through the music. And I've always felt that that God had a special intention for me in my life doing music, and I appreciate and thank Him for that every day. In 2004, of course, you know, we lost Rick James, who was very close to me, obviously, and so that was difficult for me. And I had some accidents. I had a huge picture fall off a hotel room wall and hit me in the head while I was sleeping, which caused me to start having seizures. And I had a Sub-Zero refrigerator fall on me. So I had a lot of stuff going on with me. And I was doing a lot of praying. And I also had an addiction with Vicodin, with painkillers, after Rick passed. So I went cold turkey off of those. And so I was, you know, really, really kind of loop-de-loop for a while. He'll never be there when I sing Fire and Desire again, but I can feel him in spirit. And when I get the crowd, when the crowd pumps up like that and roars, and I tell them, you know, I'm not just representing me, I'm representing my, you know, my boy, you know. And when I hear the roar of the crowd like I did last night, I know he can feel that, you know. And that's healing for me as well, because I know wherever he is, he's in a better place, you know. And that's what I really, really focus on, because he had a lot of pains and illnesses, you know, within his body. And he was just tired of being here, you know. He wanted to go to the next level. And so I'm happy that he was able to do that. So I have to focus on that, because, you know, when people go on, it's really just us. You know, they're really set free at this point, you know, but it's us really just missing them.
The music world is in mourning tonight. R&B singer Teena Marie died in her sleep last night at the age of 54. Her career included multiple Grammy nominations and spans decades. Marie was booked to play Atlanta's Fox Theater next Saturday, and CNN's Don Lemon joins me now with his memories of the soul singer. Don, so what kind of legacy is Teena Marie leaving behind?
It's probably, Hala, good evening, by the way, it's probably a bigger one than most people realize. I've seen people saying, who is Teena Marie? But of course, it's going crazy on the social media. Teena Marie was really a woman. She was a white woman who sort of crossed over, she crossed over into soul music very early on in the late 70s and early 80s. And of course, she was Rick James's protege, and everyone remembers Rick James, if not from the time that he was there, but definitely from the Dave Chappelle show and that skit that he did. But Teena Marie, it's so circuitous, Hala. When you talk about, we always say the news business is a small business. I would say the music business, the entertainment business, is probably a smaller one, because Teena Marie started out at Motown and worked with Berry Gordy and worked with Richard Rudolph, who was Minnie Riperton's husband. Richard Rudolph was a producer at Motown, and you know, "Loving You Is Easy 'Cause You're Beautiful." That was Minnie Riperton. And so she worked with Minnie Riperton, and Maya Rudolph, who is on SNL, sang on one of Teena Marie's early albums. Maya was 7 years old, and so Maya's dad and her mom produced many of Minnie Riperton's first songs. And now Teena Marie's first songs. And Teena Marie is actually Maya Rudolph's godmother.
Oh,
so
interesting.
She ushered in that, and then there's a song that you have. I think you have "Lover Girl."
Lover Girl, yeah. Let's play that.
Let's listen to a little bit of it, and I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
I'm feeling fine. I got a vibe on you the first time that I saw you. I need your love, and I won't bring no pain. A little buddy told me that you feel the same game.
So,
well, Don, what's interesting is this is kind of a whole era there.
That's a whole era of rap. She actually helped to usher in the whole rap hip-hop era. That was from 1981, but that was from 1984, that song. But 1980, 1981, she actually did Square Biz, which was one of the first rap songs ever that she rapped on. I remember her during this era. We waited and waited and waited in Louisiana at the fairgrounds for hours for her and for Rick James to show up. and they were late. It was hot in the summer. The fairgrounds were over capacity, and then I remember, and these are pictures you're looking at now from Jazz Fest when she played in New Orleans. She's a huge among people who liked R&B. So I remember waiting for her, and then when the helicopter flew her and Rick James in, and the crowd went crazy, and they were handing out water and pouring water on people. This was during the Fire and Desire era, and I don't know if you guys, if people who are listening remember, but us old heads, people who are in their 30s and 40s, remember Fire and Desire from both of them. Just amazing music, and the music industry is going to miss her. I talked to an old-time DJ, a long-time DJ, Herb Kent, who is in the Radio Hall of Fame when these reports started coming out, and one of them was from his radio station, WVAZ, in Chicago, and he said she was one of the best vocalists ever, one of the best people in the business. And actually, according to Troy Tyler, who's also a long-time DJ there, she started this act, created this initiative called the Brockert Initiative. She tried to get out of her contract with Motown that eventually helped all members of the music profession, those who were under contract. If you were under contract with someone and they weren't releasing your music or paying you, this initiative allowed you to get out of that contract. So she allowed many people in the business, like Luther Vandross, among others, to be able to get out of their contract and make money by going to other publishing companies. A huge loss for the business.
All right, Don Lemon, great insight. I'm filling in for you tonight, so I think we're going to see you next weekend. Good talking to you there about Teena Marie, her death, very young, age 54, and her legacy as well.